Hi everyone, Tanner from Imagine the Room Closets. Today we're going to talk about standard bedroom reach-in closets. It's something that every home has, and it's something that there's almost always unlocked potential in that we can do lots to maximize the storage space in your own home and in your closets. So as we look at this before picture, and this is one of a very common site that I'll see, you can see it's an overladen shelf. It's got way too many things on it. It's bent and bowing. The rod is a wooden dowel. If it were over a shorter span, it probably would have worked okay, but in this case, they just had far too many things on it. This is a very common sight that I'll see when I go to customers' homes. One of the first things that I like to point out to them is I show them how much potential space there is. So you can see from the top of this shelf, it's right about 6 feet high. Usually you have a 9-foot ceiling inside of most closets. So you've got 2 feet above that shelf. Most people don't have anything that's 2 feet tall that can fit up there. So as we look at the fix-it pictures, one of the first things we'll suggest is to actually raise that shelf up a foot and use some of that untapped ceiling space. The next thing that we'll talk about as well is the wasted space on the floor. So in this case, if you don't have a whole closet's worth of long items like dresses, you're going to have about 2 feet on the floor underneath normal items that's also untapped and unused. So tip number 1 is raise that shelf up about a foot, right about to 7 feet. If you're going to do this, you most often will have to reduce the depth of the shelf so that you can still get things up and in underneath the bulkhead of the doorway. But what this does is it allows you to use that height between the shelf and the ceiling more effectively. And the other thing that it does is allows you to do 2 rows of hanging. We'll commonly call it double hanging. For the heights of the rods underneath the double hanging section, you'll usually get the top rod right around 80 inches and the bottom one around 38 inches. So as we look at this picture here, you can see we've got that top rod, the top shelf is put up right about 7 feet, and we've got the 2 rods for 2 rows of hanging. This will hang everything from things like hoodies, t-shirts, or pants folded over. Tip number 2 is long hanging. So the first thing you'll do is you'll try and find out what's the least amount of dress length hanging items that you need in that closet. The reason for that is the less amount you can do of that, the more we can do with other things like double hanging. And that's where you're going to keep more of your storage space stacked in, like items in kind, basically. And we'll also be able to maximize more of the storage space in that closet. Another tip for long hanging sections is you don't always need to keep that rod right up at the top of the closet. If you bring it down a foot or 2, you can actually put a couple of shelves above it. And what that does is it makes it so you don't have wasted space on the floor underneath those longer items. Tip number 3 is add some shelving or some drawers. So as you look at this picture here, it's a really basic, it's about a 6-foot wide closet, and we put small cubbies down the center. This can be used to put folded items like pants or shirts or sweaters. You also can make sure that they'll fit baskets from places like Walmart or Winners. It's a really good option, and it's a good cost saver to do shelves over drawers. If you do have the budget for drawers for even 1 or 2, they're a great way to store things like socks and underwear, just smaller items that are hard to keep tidy on a shelf or might get lost in the bottom of a basket. So now we're going to do the big reveal of the before and after. So as you can see, by putting our before and our after picture side by side, we did some quick math just to kind of demonstrate how much space you actually gain by organizing your closet. So we can see that just making some simple changes to a closet, whether it's adding some shelving and doing 2 rows of hanging, if you want to, you can throw drawers in. You can add so much storage space to the closet and really transform your space and make your life that much easier and less complicated. Thank you so much for joining us on your organization journey. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. And if you have a message that you'd like to send to us and a project that you're working on, go ahead and send it. We'd be happy to help, and we hope you all have a great day.